and we're off. This is basically the second one on the second route on the Slovenia challenge. So essentially it's only an 11-mile route, so basing it on my average weight to kilogram ratio, should take probably around about half an hour, 40 minutes. So that's the plan anyway, but we'll wait and see how we get on. Alright, so on this one, as I mentioned, this is on the Tour of Slovenia challenge on Rouvy. So basically on Rouvy you get lots of different challenges that you can enter, and on those challenges you'll have something along the lines of there's a cup of tea tour, I think it's called. There's one called Traveller. There was a Halloween challenge which featured a load of different routes that were associated to Halloween. So I think the Road to Hell was one, the Hell of Hexham was another. So you get like a time limit to do these. And I think the time limit for the Tour of Slovenia is at the end of December sometime. I think I've got 30 days to complete. I've already done one of the courses, so I've got 30 days to do the other 3, so should be fine. But yeah, I just thought I would start off with the video for my Rouvy introduction, showing you sort of what we can do really. I've been using Rouvy for about a month, and I quite like being able to cycle on sort of real roads where you've got an A to B, and you can challenge yourself and go for it really. And you can also, I haven't done it in this instance, but you can select other people who have done time trials on this route, and they can sort of be like ghosts on this, or virtual partners, not ghosts, it's not scary. So on there, at least then you can sort of select people of similar calibre, and then you can sort of try and stick with them and stuff like that. So like I said, I'm not outstanding. I'm your typical cyclist, and I'll go out and I'll do sort of like averages between 15 and 17 mile an hour on the road, depending on the route, depending on distance. And on Rouvy, a lot of it is calculated by your power. Now I'm using an Elite Directo X, which is a smart trainer that I've bought. I love it, it's fantastic. I've had like a standard turbo before, which was good. It was good for its uses of, you know, when it's cold outside to use it, so you haven't got to go out in the horrible weather. But when I used it on applications such as Zwift or something like that, it was obviously it's generated on power as well, but I only had a speed sensor and a cadence sensor. So what would happen is, as soon as you hit a hill, you'd have to throw it into the highest gear you could, and then basically sprint up this hill. But because it's based on, again, on your own power rather than the incline, just based on watts, and the more watts you get, the quicker you get up the mountain. So, but now I've got my smart trainer, so I'm quite happy that on here you get to a hill, the resistance goes up. You get to a downhill, the resistance goes down. It's quite as simple as that. It's connected via Bluetooth onto my computer, and you can see if I'm to stop pedalling, my cadence will drop. There you go, drop to 0, and then we're at 14 mile an hour, and then we start going again. Cadence goes up, and then speed gets itself back up to probably where it should be. So navigating around the screen, we've got in the top left, you've got your watts, you've got your power you're putting out, you've got your watts per kilogram average, not average, you've got your watts per kilogram, you've got your cadence and your speed, and then below that you've got your ascent, descent, grade, and below that you've then got who is on the route with you. And obviously I've got FSQLVUT, shout out. Some way up the road, a couple of miles up the road. I don't imagine I'll be seeing them. Right, now we're on a bit of an incline, 3.9%. And you can see on the video that the road does sort of step up a little bit. And it's quite, some of the routes I've done on here have been brilliant. I've done the Stelvio the other week. I think the Stelvio was to complete the rookie sort of challenge. It's hard. Do not be fooled. It is very hard. So on Rouvy you've got your cycling career. So on your cycling career you've got different milestones you need to hit before you can take the next step. So you start out as a starter, then to a rookie, then to talented, then elite, and it goes up and up and up. And you have certain routes, potentially races, and you have to try and meet a couple of challenges within each of those sort of steps. So at the moment I'm on talented, and to get to elite, just check my notes here, I've got to do, where are we? I've got to do 3 routes, I won't try and pronounce them, and then I've got to complete another challenge. So Halloween challenge was one of them, and then I've got 2 other challenges on the go at the moment, which is this Slovenia Tour, and then the Traveller challenge. I've got 2 routes left on there. So after this today, I'll have two routes left on each challenge. So, but then the one for the Traveller challenge, the actual time for completion on that, and the deadline is way in the future, whereas the Tour of Slovenia is in December. So the Tour of Slovenia will take priority. And in another video there's another challenge that's recently come up, and I'll show you that one. Alright, so we're on a minus 5.4%, flying through these trees. And you can see on the bottom line, so if we work our way, where it's yellow goes green, orange, and works our way up towards the end, that's the incline or the profile of your route. So essentially it's saying that your minimum elevation will be 929 feet and your max elevation is 1262 feet. So at the moment we're 3.5 miles in. We're the first blue icon on there, and you can see the profile we've had so far has been pretty steady, and you know, it hasn't been too strenuous. I haven't lost my breath too often, so we're alright. And then if you work your way across, it obviously tells you what the route is to the Tour of Slovenia, and then you can see there's just above T there is a little black marker, so that's your first checkpoint. Now I started this route and stopped it to readjust my setup, so God knows where I'm going to be on this. It isn't calculated in moving time, it's calculated in, well, start-stop time. And then once you finish your ride, it will then go up to Strava, and that will calculate your moving time as opposed to your time that's been elapsed during the activity. If you're concentrating on the challenges and you're sort of limited for time, I'd recommend having a look at what your average is from a watts per kilogram, and then try and find other people similar on that route and see how long they took. So for example, this one here should take half hour, 40 minutes for me. I know that I can do this at first thing in the morning before work, before the kids get up, and then I know I feel a bit better about myself after I've done it, and it's only a nice little quick route. Other routes, I have been stung where I haven't planned properly and I've gone, right, cool, that's an 11-mile route, I'll do that, you know, 40 minutes. Don't look at the ascent and it's like, not Stelvio, but it was a big route, like really steep, and it took me nearly 2 hours. So yeah, just be mindful. Right, you can see in the bottom left now that it's now come up with our split. so that we've got our countdown of how long we've got to get to the first split. Now, like I said, I'm some way down on the time, which I wouldn't expect usually to be this far down, but it's because I stopped to rearrange my setup a little bit. I've got a little false flat here, and you should see the banner of the first split. Here we are, we're coming into it now. Through the flags, under the banner, and there's your first split. So 18 minutes, we're in 114th overall. I'm not going to pretend that if I hadn't stopped that I'd be any higher up. I'm usually around 100th, sort of around there, but obviously it depends on the amount of people who've actually done the course. So into the second split. And we'll go for a red light there, nearly hit by a car. So if you're new to the channel, I've got some other videos that I do, which is all sort of based on mental health awareness. I'm a positive mental health ambassador for Mates, which is mental health awareness for educational speaking, who are based here in Essex. I'll put a link in the description of the video to them, but essentially there's a lot of like-minded people on there who have been through their own issues, who are there as a support network. I'm sort of doing quite a few videos to raise awareness for them, and I'm giving them a mention on each of these videos that I'm doing. So check Mates out. We've got our own cycling club. I'm not sponsored by Mates, I'm just a positive mental health ambassador for them, so this is not a paid promotion. So yeah, so go check them out. I'll put a description. I'll put a link in the description below. Right, so first kick coming up now. It's quite steady to begin with, but you can see the darker it gets, the harder it gets. So for example, at the moment we're in yellow and it's 3.1%, 2.3%. Mind the roadworks. And then here, when it goes a bit darker, a bit more orange, it will start stepping up. So let's see, 6%. So drop the gears down, spin that cadence. You can see the watts are going up now. And then we'll get up this bit, and then we've got a nice flat, what, 4 miles probably. And then after that 4 miles, we've got the final kick towards the end. Stuck in a bit of traffic here. Oh, luckily the cars went. Yeah, my legs know we're trying now. Right, we're nearly at the, it's not a summit, but we're nearly at the top of this hill, and it's only a little hill, but I've been off the bike for a couple of weeks. That's not an excuse, that's an admission of laziness. Right, we're over that. We've got a nice flat run now, so hopefully we can step it up a bit, try and get the average up, and potentially try and catch FSQL BUT. Shout out to you. Oh, I'm coming for you. Right, so we're on 7 miles, we've got just over 4 miles to go, and we're doing alright. Like I said, we're not going to break any records today, but as a first sort of introduction to what Rouvy looks like, an introduction to myself, an introduction to the channel probably. It's not a bad little route to start off with, is it? But if there's routes you'd like to see me do, then yeah, put the comments below and I'll give them a go. Like I said, I'm pretty average as a cyclist. The main reason for the videos is to raise mental health awareness, and I find that cycling for me is something that helps with my mental health, because it's very difficult to think about anything else when you're trying to go up a hill or down a hill. That's why I'm not a big fan of flats. But in this current climate, we're back into lockdown here in the UK, and I'm quite happy with my setup. Got on my trainer for an hour or so. I've got my fan on here, just there, try and keep me cool. Plenty of water. In my cycling career on Rouvy, I think what I'll do is I'll concentrate on this Tour of Slovenia. So I've got 2 routes left after this. We'll get this challenge knocked out, and then we've got Prodesso Passo Pellegrino. I say Pellegrino, Pellegrino, I don't know. I completely apologise for my ignorance, and I don't want Roglic and Pogačar coming to tell me off for my Slovenian. Basically there's 3 routes after I've completed this challenge, and then I have to compete in a race. Now I'll do like a special racing video at some point in the future, but yeah, it's all attainable challenges. It's just having the time to do it, and it depends what you do and your situation within lockdown and what kit you have, I suppose. Well, it does. There's no suppose. Depends what kit you have. But I recommend it thoroughly. Again, this isn't any sort of paid endorsement by Rouvy or by mates, but I found it to help me. And that's all I can comment on, really. Right, 8.5 miles in, trying to step it up a bit. We are less than 1,000 feet away from the person in front, so we'll be seeing them shortly. Not sure where you are in the world, but this is why Rouvy is so good. You get lots of different types of people all over the world doing the same routes. You can see in the top left now that they have appeared on our radar, and then it won't be long before you can probably see them on the screen. The car was stopped at a red light there, so he's got to do some catching up. There we are. So you can see just under my name there, below me, you can see that we're coming up on FS QUELBUT. There we go, we just go past there. Keep it up, mate. And now we're pushing to get to the last final kick. Less than 2 miles to go now. About 1.5 miles left of this flat. Then we drop down and then take it into the climb to the finish. Before we get to that, if you explore the rest of the channel, you'll see that I do a bit of gaming. I've got a FIFA playlist, I've got a Pro Cycling Manager playlist, and I've got just some general videos that I do with the family, and some mental health awareness stuff as well. So feel free to go and check some of those videos out. But yeah, if you can please like and subscribe to this video and to the channel, I'd appreciate it, and hopefully it might get me up this hill towards the end. Whew. I've got a little bit of a steady incline here. Right, it's only 1.2% on the radar, but I feel like the resistance stepped up quite a lot. So that's going to take us to the top of this hill. We go downhill where it goes a little bit green on the descent, and then step up towards the end of this route. Clocking on to 10 miles now, so it's probably going to be about just over half a mile of that hill. Okay, so here we go. Just about to take this little drop down, and then we'll be getting into the climb. Just preparing myself for this. "34 minutes in, and I was mucking around for quite a while as well, so it's not too shabby. We can see we're going down this hill now at 33 miles an hour, so obviously even though I've stopped pedalling, it still carries on down the hill, which is brilliant. Does that on Swift as well. So right, we'll step up now. I'm in quite a low gear, we're turning left, and then we're on to this climb, and straight away it gets up to 8.5%, 8.8, and then you can see where it's slightly darker orange. That would then probably put it up to about 10, I'd say. We're on 9.7 now. And you can see on the video, we're on 10%. So you can see on the video that it is quite an incline. 11%. Yeah, it's quite an incline, and my resistance is now not full on because my trainer goes up to about 18%, but it's still really hard. Like the resistance is anyway. So you can see with the first bit, and probably the hardest bit, is near enough done. It then goes off to sort of like an orange and a yellow, and then steps back up to an orange colour. So I reckon we'll end up going to about, what, 1-2% where it's yellow. Step up to probably about 6, 7, maybe 8. And then that'll be that done really. But give us a like if you can. I'm trying my hardest, but you can see I'm sweating profusely because of my lack of activity over the past couple of weeks. Again, not an excuse, it's an admission of laziness. Right, so we've gone to 2.2, 0.8, and then it's going to step up for this final kick. .3. Alright, bingo. Place your bets. 9 point what? 9.7. Well done if you got that right. You get a free teat. No, you don't. Okay, so you can see now we've got 0.3 mile left. Bottom left hand corner. Show me how long I've got left of it. And you can see where we stand on the route. So I think we were 114th, something like that, for the first split. So how long does that give us? That gives us 14 minutes to finish, which we should do. And I reckon if we finish, what, 110th, that'd be alright. But we've only really got, this is the only thing about this setup on Rouvy, I now can't see the overall, which is alright in time trial or training, but in races might actually be different in races, to be fair. I've only done one. Right, starting to hopefully level out in a minute, and then the finish line will then be in sight. Whew. Final push. Yeah, I think we're going to finish 110. I think 1.9 is too far, or too. waiting for the resistance to let go of the touch. And you can see on the right hand side we're nearly in the mountains, so you know, doing alright really. Alright, 500 feet left. Trying to have a big finish. You can see the flags there and the banners. Nearly at the end. Push in. There's the finish. And there you go. $38.58. And with me mucking around for a while on the setup, it's not too bad. I reckon I could probably get down to 34, but that's for another day. Right guys, so basically just to show you what you get when you go to your end screen. So I've gone to finish, and then you get a selection of different statistics. So on here you've got the difficulty of the route, you've got some statistics here, you've got your averages, so your speed average, your watt average, your reps per minute, and then you've got the route distance, your gain in elevation, the max elevation, and how many calories. And in here it's got all your power zones, so obviously if I had a heart rate monitor that would be probably more accurate, but I really like the route. I'll give it 5 stars. It's a nice little one to do basically if you've got half hour, 40 minutes in the morning before the day starts. So yeah, so that's why I like it anyway. That's what I find, that if obviously some of these routes, there's one that I'll show you, I'll do another video how to set it all up and stuff like that, but this is basically just an introduction to me into Rouvy. So essentially on one of my other videos I will show you how to get yourself set up on Rouvy, get it downloaded, sign yourself in, get yourself set up for a challenge, and yeah, and we'll basically hopefully start your Rouvy journey. But like I've mentioned, I'm a positive mental health ambassador for Mates. We do a lot of good work in the community. We're based in the UK, but we've got ambassadors all over the world, in New Zealand and in Greece and places like that. So if you're interested or ever need a bit of support, then go and look the group up on Facebook. I'll put a link below. So also you can go and check out some other videos on the channel. I do a bit of gaming. I've got a FIFA 21 player career mode. I've got a pro cyclist career mode on Pro Cycling Manager as well, which I've started. Do a bit of a vlog and whatnot with the family. So I've got quite a bit of stuff on the channel, and hopefully there'll be more in time to come. But until next time, you can follow me on the socials. I'm on Instagram at matt.i.wherry and all that sort of good stuff. But until next time, if you can like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day and take care of yourselves. Cheers.